Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming, and in this video I'm going to show you guys all of the Charizards that were produced in Japan from a regular set or like a promotional set, something like that, um, during the WOTC era. So like Generation 1, Generation 2, we're going to cut it off at Sky Ridge. But before we do so, I did pick up a few more Wizards of the Coast booster boxes. We're kind of in this weird stage right now where there are many sales that kind of like show old pricing that's kind of recent, but then there's a few like really hyped up high sales. And so I'm getting people who want to sell the product to me. Some of them want higher than the most recent sale. Some of them are kind of going off of collector value, which is a mix of the values. So I'm getting some purchases, and then I'm getting a lot that are turning me down as well because they want really high prices. But there are still, like, I bought this at 90% of collector value at the time, so that was pretty good to me. It works out for them. They don't have to worry about the buyer risk and that kind of stuff. And of course, if they sold it on a platform, then they're probably going to save a little bit of money and hassle as it is. But anyways, pretty cool. Got a Jungle Unlimited box. This one does have the Expert TM trademark little thing right there. I may send it off to Be Great. I'm still waiting to hear back from X-Ray and CAS on the stuff. It did get to them the very next day. It made it to them. It was in the mail less than 24 hours. Once they've done their analysis, they're supposed to reach out to me. I'm going to give them the labels to get it from them to CAS, and then I guess from CAS it'll come back to me. But picked up this box, and then I also picked up from the same guy an unlimited fossil booster box. Kind of cool. These are definitely disappearing now, and I don't know. It's just still nice. It's a nice piece to have. Like whenever you come across these old vintage WOTC boxes, even EX era, Diamond and Pro. I mean, all of this stuff is getting older and older. And you can see how it becomes more scarce with even the newer products. I mean, I don't even break stuff open really outside of the case now, other than one single case. But let's jump into what I told you guys I was going to show you. I want you to try to keep count, see how many Charizards there were. So we're going to start off with the no rarity symbol. I am showing you different variations for each set. Let's just do it one at a time. So I did put I'm showing you guys these now because I put them up for sale on my eBay, and I didn't think that I was going to do something like that, but really I've got a small amount of Japanese cards that I still have in my personal collection. And with the historic rise on a lot of these cards, I'm not selling them for cheap, but I did put them up there to where if somebody does want to buy them and they're willing to pay, pretty much right at the lowest or next to lowest price on the market, which isn't low at the moment for some of these, I'm willing to sell them. And I excluded any sale that was outside, like in Japan, because there are extra fees associated with that. So like this one, yeah, there haven't been many sales at all on a 9. I put it for like $130,000 or something like that, because there was one for 120, but it was coming out of Japan. And then this one has a really nice swirl there in the top, and I have it on hand. It could go directly into the vault. Goes through authenticity, and you get all those little guarantees. Here we have a base set Charizard. So these are the two versions from the very first set. You've got the no rarity, which doesn't have the star. And then this one does have the star, which is considered like, the unlimited if you had a first edition and unlimited. Crazy enough, with Japanese, with the initial sets, they didn't have first edition and unlimited, but English did, and then it kind of swapped after the WOTC era. But anyways, here we have a 10. Does have a swirl right there. I put like partial swirl in the title. This definitely has went up in price. Here we have a dark Charizard. This one again also has a nice swirl there in the top left, from Team Rocket. So we didn't have anything from Jungle or Fossil. Team Rocket, fourth set on the Japanese side. We see our third variation of Charizard, or I guess the second artwork. Next one is Blaine's Charizard. Very similar, running kind of parallel with the American side, except for we had first edition unlimited, and in cases like with Dark Charizard, there was also a non-holographic version. So we had 4 Charizards from Team Rocket, whereas just one on the Japanese side. Here we have the Blaine's Charizard. There were 3 versions on the English side. You had first edition unlimited, and then you also had the corrected unlimited variation that you could find outside of the English print. It was English printed boxes, but outside of the United States. Here we have the CD promo. We did not get this one in the USA. However, we did get this artwork on the side of our blue winged booster boxes. So it is a familiar artwork, but this is from the CD promo. It did get a reprint not too long ago. Here we have the Neo File Charizard. This is a reverse holographic card that you could get that come in a file. It was a 9-pocket page. You can see like through some of the Neo Discovery type parts on the front. It was like a tablet, I believe, and then there were parts of it that you could see through and see some of the cards on the inside. But there was this Charizard. You had like an Umbreon, an Eevee, Espeon. You had a Pichu, an Entei. I can't remember everything that was there, but they were cards that you could find on the English side, but differently, like in different releases, but you couldn't find them within the set. Now, this Charizard was not printed on the English side, so it was an exclusive, but you can see it was a reverse holographic. Has a partial swirl right there. All right, next up we get into the e-reader era. So we have the e-starter deck. We did get this artwork on the English side, but it was just within the set itself. Within Expedition, there was the number 6, the number 39, the number 40. The number 6 was a holo. You could also get as reverse holo. And then the 39 and 40 were just the rares. You could also get them as reverse holo. So we had 6 cards on the English side for the Expedition set for Charizard. And then I guess if you include the FBO, you've got a whole nother one there. And match prints, but those were like non-release type cards. All right, next up we have the Charizard. This would have been the number 40. This was a shared artwork. This was a shared artwork on the number 6 and number 40. This was just the artwork on the number 39. On the English side, Japanese side, the number 71. You've got this Charizard here. Now, this did also have a holo release, just like on the English side. You had the holo, and then you had the non-holo. This is number 103. They put the holos at the end right about this time. And you can see how we have first edition. That's something that's starting to happen. With Expedition, though, there was a very limited release for some of the cards in Unlimited. So like this Charizard here, it's an 8. Very, very rare card. How many copies are out there? We don't know. I've heard numbers thrown around like 50, but I really don't know. However, you can see there's no first edition stamp here. The guy that sold me this, I've been trying to get a hold of him. I still owe him money from like 6 years ago. He wanted store credit. He never used it, and I still owe him money for it. I reached out to him on Instagram. I've tried his eBay today. All right, next up we have the Dark Charizard, but this is the web version, so it is a recycled artwork. But you can see there's Unlimited and First Edition. The Unlimited I have found to be tougher to find than the First Edition. However, it's not like a huge difference like the First Edition Unlimited was with the Expedition. So there is a price difference, but the cool thing about this is going to be a lot more like people are going to want this kind of card versus, you know, this right here, just because there's the natural appeal for this is it's going to come from scarcity, but not so much the card itself. Whereas people love Dark Charizard, they love the holos. You can see right here, this has got a swirl there, so that's a double, and then we have a swirl here, and then the next one's going to be off. So no like perfect swirls really on that, but decent. All right, next up we have Lance's Charizard. Again, we didn't see this on the English side. There were a few exclusive Verse Series cards printed in English, but they were only as Tropical Mega Battle prizes, and Lance's Charizard was not one of them. So really cool card. Wasn't any Unlimited that I am aware of, so it was just First Edition. Next up, we have a card that has really seen a rise in price lately. We have the Lottery promo. Again, this is the artwork from Expedition. We do not, I believe this is the only holo version of this artwork on either English or Japanese, but I could be wrong. They've reprinted so much stuff. But anyways, really cool card, kind of exclusive in the way that it was released. Was not something that was just like, I don't know how many copies they're out there, but it's not like a set card where you can just find endless amounts of them. All right, next up we have Shining Charizard. I was really surprised at the price on this. The last known sale, it says like 160 on eBay, but it was actually like 45 or so. I don't know if it was an actual sale or not, but that was over 3 months ago. Everything seems to have went up crazy in price since then, and so I put a really big number on this. I don't know if it's going to sell or not. I don't really want to sell it, but if it does sell for that price, I'm happy to let it go. It would definitely be a record and put it up there as one of the most expensive cards in Pokemon. where it's always been a big card, but it's never been like one of the most expensive, if that makes sense. But there are so few of them out there. So we have a PSA 10 Shining Charizard, and I'm curious to see if it does sell. If it does, then I mean, it does. All right, then last but not least, we have the Crystal Charizard. So on the English side, we had 3 variations. We had the regular holo, we had the reverse holo, and then we had the box topper. That's if you're counting the box topper. But on the Japanese side, you just had first edition and unlimited. These have a really nice pattern on it. It's kind of hard to pick up, but it's like sparkly all over. You can kind of see it right there. Really, really done well on the Japanese side. But this is the unlimited. Definitely harder to find the unlimited than the first edition. Maybe that's because people wanted the first edition more graded. I'm not really too sure, but it could be linked to the fact that a lot of the first edition sets that have more copies than the unlimited sets, I believe, is because of the time that these cards were put out, and Pokemon wasn't as popular. So after the initial wave, they released some more, but it was just unlimited, and it made them actually more scarce because of just how popular Pokemon was, or the lack thereof. There just wasn't as much coming out. Especially, you see this especially during the EX era, Generation 3. A lot of those cards in Unlimited are super hard to find, but there are both variations that exist. Anyways, here we go. We have the first edition and the Unlimited. So there we go. If you were keeping count, 17 cards. If I missed any, please let me know. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 17. So this was my personal collection of the Charizards in the highest grade that I had. I do have a CGC 10 of the no rarity, but I never picked up the PSA 10 because it is astronomically more expensive. I guess when I say astronomically, I just mean it's a whole lot more. It's like 5 times the price of that. I'm not really sure where it would land at this point. I've seen some big prices for it. It used to be, it was like a difference between like 30 and like 200,000 or something like that. But there's so few of the 10 that I'm going off of like random data points of time, and the prices could be way different than that at this point. Everything else was a 10 except for the unlimited. On this one, I did have a chance to buy a 10 a while back for like 25,000, something like. I can't remember. It might have actually went for more because a lot of times when I get outbid, I don't stay to the end of the auction. But I believe it went through Fanatics, so maybe somebody could correct me there on that one. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, correct me if I missed any. Base through Skyridge or Mysterious Mountains era Charizards that come from a booster pack. I don't think that it did. I believe when I did this before, I pulled out every Charizard that I could find, and once I got done, I felt I was complete with all of the cards from an era. I moved on to the next one, and then I never really looked back at checking on stuff. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.